Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. I just figured I'd put up another video while I got some time, killing some minutes of the day or the night now. I figured I'd give you a story time. I had posted one of my first videos about my sobriety story, and I hinted at I was going to talk about um, my DWI arrest. So I figured I'd tell you the first one. This is the story of the very first time I got a DWI. Here we go. So there I was, way back in the day, 19 aught. No, I'm kidding. This was I want to say it was 2011. 2011. I'm going to say. I had just started dating a young lady, very nice woman. She was a woman. She wasn't a girl. She was a woman. She was a full-grown woman. And it was the day before St. Patrick's Day. And I am a member of the Elks Lodge in my local area, Lodge 2508. And I brought the girlfriend there. So the girlfriend and I were sitting at the Elks Lodge and having drinks. And a good buddy of mine was bartending, and he was, he wasn't hooking us up, but he was very attentive all evening. It wasn't particularly busy. I think it was like a Wednesday night, because St. Patty's Day was that Thursday or that it was a Wednesday night. I remember that. It's the night before St. Patty's Day. I didn't even realize that. It wasn't really why we were out. We were out because I was an alcoholic and I dragged my girlfriend out. But we were sitting at the lodge and we were drinking and just having a good night. She was kind of a lightweight. She'd have 2 or 3 drinks and be drunk. And that night she had like 5 or 6. So she was really intoxicated. At that point in my life, I was a full-blown alcoholic, all ready to go. So I drank, to get away cheap for me, I would drink tap beer, draft beer, usually Coors Light, something light, some light Pilsner. Even though I was fond of Yingling, I always liked Yingling on tap, and I like Guinness on tap as well, but I usually drink the cheapy American Pilsner, Coors Light, something like that. Usually Coors Light. So anyway, I fire down not one pitcher. I order a pitcher for myself, and not one pitcher, but I go through 2 pitchers. And one of the things that I always loved doing the most when I was drinking was doing shots. Shot, 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 shot. What was Lil Jon song? Shot, 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 shot. Everybody. Yeah, that. I was a shot guy. So my shot of choice is always Yasnoka. It's blackberry brandy from the brand De Kuyper, and it's a lot of people say it tastes like cough medicine. I always liked cough medicine, by the way. It tasted good to me. That's probably where things started, when I would ask my mom, "Can I have another spoonful?" And she's like, "I don't think so." And I'm like, "I'll take it." And I used to go and steal cough medicine and just open it up and take a swig and put it back. Yeah, I used to do that all the time because I liked the way it tasted. I didn't know that it was medicine. I was a little kid. Anyway, I liked um, Jasnoka. It's a Polish drink. I'm Polish, so I enjoyed that. But that particular night, they happened to be out of Jasnoka, and they didn't really have the other stuff that I mean, that's a full bar. They had tons of stuff. But I landed on Jägermeister. Icy cold Jägermeister was always good. It was that heavy black licorice flavor, but it's higher octane than a lot of things. And I just did. When you do a shot of it, you don't give a shit, right? Like, I didn't care. I just did shots of it. So there, my girlfriend and I are. We're having a bit of an evening. We're sitting there. We're having a good time. We're chit chatting. We're having fun. We're laughing, and I'm drinking away, drinking as much as I want to drink, and I feel good about it. Well, by the end of the night, I had fired down about 2 pitchers ish, about 8, 9 pints, give or take. Maybe 2 pitchers and a couple pints. I'm not real sure. I didn't feel all crazy fucked up. I felt pretty normal, but I definitely did go through a bunch of Jaeger, like the regular size bottle of Jaeger. It's kind of square. I went through about half of that, at least half of that, maybe a little more. Maybe about a dozen shots, give or take. I wasn't counting. I don't know exactly the milliliters that I consumed. 2 pitchers and a half bottle of Jaeger, about that much. So I had a pretty good buzz on, but I wasn't completely fucked up. That was a regular night for me. That wasn't a big deal. My girlfriend, however, she went over. Like I said, she has 2 drinks and she's pretty tipsy. She has 3 drinks and she's drunk. And I think she had like 5 or 6 drinks that night. She just felt like drinking, I guess. I don't know. It's a dumb idea on her part. She pukes all night. Anyway, she's 4 or 5 deep and she's like, "Bleh." And it's getting towards the end of the night, and I'm kind of laughing, and I'm like, "Yeah, we should get going." And my phone buzzes. I got a text message from a buddy of mine who's a bartender at a different bar, and his joint had already shut down for the night, and he already made it to his house. He lived about 10 minutes away from the lodge where we were, and he's like, "Hey, um, I got a bottle of vodka. Come drink this with me. It's a nightcap." And it was about 1:30 in the morning, and the lodge was closing down. I'm like, "Oh, good idea. I'll go run over there and get a nightcap." And I told my girlfriend, I'm like, "Hey, we're gonna run over to my buddy's house and have a couple more drinks real quick and then go home." She's like, "Sure." She didn't know any better. Um, so we paid our tab and left tip and shook everybody's hand and headed out. And I jumped behind the wheel. I had a little Toyota. I don't remember what fucking car that was. It was a little red 4-door sedan. A little shit box. My father had bought it for my brother-in-law, and then my brother-in-law used it until my sister and brother-in-law moved away, and then I kind of inherited that car, which is great. You know, I'll always take a free car. It wasn't glamorous, but it worked, so I was happy to have it. Um, it was an older, like it was a shit box. It was a little 4-door sedan. It was red. I remember it was red. I don't remember what it was, if it was Toyota or Nissan or what, but we get in my little ship box and we take off and I'm head down the road and I'm heading down the road and I'm doing the speed limit. I'm not swerving. I'm not racing. I'm not doing anything bad. I didn't hit anything. And I see a car come flying up behind me and I look on purpose to see if I could see the light bars on top of the roof. And I thought maybe I could, or maybe it was a ski rack. I couldn't really tell. And this car just jams right up on my ass. And I was like, "Oh, no, 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 no." Sure enough, woo! Fuck. 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 Like shit. Pull over. And now I'm on 434 right in front of the Blue Dolphin Diner, right before the exit. There's an exit right there to get off and on, to get on the highway from that direction, and one exit that came off the highway. It's right there. I pulled over a little bit before that, and Talcott County Sheriff gets out, and it was a young lady, young blonde lady, a little blonde girl. I'm not going to say her name. Little blonde officer gets out. I'll say her first name. Her first name is Julie. Julie gets out. Julie comes over, and I already have the window all the way down. I'm trying to like blow the alcohol off my breath. She comes over and she goes, "Hi, you know why I pulled you over?" And I said, "No, ma'am." "Why?" She goes, "You had a plate lamp out." What? She goes, "You had a plate lamp out." A fucking plate lamp. On every vehicle, there's a license plate. There's 2 little light bulbs on the side or on the top that shine light so you can specifically read a license plate. In the state of New York, you have to have both of those lit, by the way. There is no indicator when one of those little fuckers blows out. I had no idea that it was gone. Nothing tells you that. If you hit your indicator or your blinker and it blinks real funny, that means one of the bulbs is broken. So you can fix that. But there was nothing that told me that stupid light bulb was out. I wasn't speeding. I wasn't doing anything wrong except driving drunk. I was intoxicated and I was behind the wheel. That was illegal. I can't do that. But as far as she knows, nothing was wrong except my fucking plate lamp. Because your plate lamp was out, so I pulled you over. "Can I have your license and registration, please?" "Yes, ma'am." Fumble around the car for a minute, grab my shit, and I hand her my license, and I go through the glove box, and I grab it's a little envelope. It's not an envelope. It's a little plastic thing. It's clear on the top, and it's red on the bottom, and it's only just big enough that your insurance card and your registration fit in there, and there's like it's not very big. There's not very much leeway in it. And she goes, "Can you take that out of there for me?" And she was referring to me taking the paper out of the little case. And I was trying to do it, but I was a little drunk, and my fingers couldn't do it. I couldn't fucking get it apart. And finally, I was just like, "Here," and I just handed it to her. And she goes, "I wanted you to get it out," and I'm like, "I'm sorry, I couldn't." And I'm trying not to make too much eye contact. I'm trying not to give it away that I'm not 3 sheets to the wind, but I'm two sheets out. I have a fair amount of alcohol in my belly. And she's like, "Step out of the car, please." And right then, as soon as she said that, I was like, fuck, I'm about to get a DWI. That's my first one. Here we go. Let's see what happens. So I reach in, I grab my cell phone, I toss it to my girlfriend she's riding shotgun. Now she's a fucking mess at this point. She is losing her mind. I'm chill. I know what's going on. I'm okay. Like I understand what's happening. I'm not pissed. I'm not upset. I'm a little irritated about the plate lamp thing, but I know what's going on. I'm fully aware of cognizant of the situation at hand. I'm all right. I got Dingleberry riding shotgun, losing her shit. She has multiple she works for a cell phone company. She's on multiple cell phones calling people. I don't know who she's calling or why. I'm like, "You got to call Mike or somebody." That was the guy that we are going to go see. He knows a lot of the Tioga County sheriffs. And I was like, "Call him, call them, see if they can come over and pick us up, or maybe we can just leave the car here and I won't get anything. We'll see what happens." She's losing her shit. I'm like, "Calm down. I'll take care of this. We'll deal with this." So Julie pops me out of the car and she goes, "How many of you had to drink tonight?" And I said, "1 or 2. "Where are you coming from?" I was like, "Oh, I was at our Elks Lodge." She's like, "1 or 2, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah, oh, not even. Maybe I didn't even finish that one." She's like, "Oh, okay. Because I smell alcohol in your breath. That's why I asked you to get out." And I was like, "Oh, okay." She's like, "You also couldn't get the insurance card out of the folder." And I was like, "So? Man fingers. I can't do a lot of that." She's like, "I'd like you to do some field sobriety tests for me." I said, "Yes, ma'am." So first one she does is and things are a little fuzzy for me, by the way. I'm trying to recall this correctly. I might screw this up, but I think the first one was touch your nose. Lean back, extend your arms with your eyes open, touch your nose, and then with your eyes closed, touch your nose. And I did, and I was like, I kind of surprised myself. When I had my head back and I'm standing there, and I went to touch my nose, I was like, I'm gonna poke myself in the eye, and all of a sudden, bam! I hit the tip of my nose. And I was like, oh, in my own head, I was like, fuck yeah, I did it! All right, pass. Like I didn't. I didn't think I was gonna do it, really, but I did it, and then bam, 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 touched my nose. And I was like, "Sweet!" Then she's like, "All right, now I want you to stand on one foot." She asked me, do you have any leg problems or knee problems or anything?" And I do, actually, legitimately. I've had multiple surgeries on my right knee. I had an ACL reconstruction, a patella reconstruction. I had surgery on my meniscus, and they for the patella reconstruction, they had pins and wires in there, so I had to go back again and get all the pins and wires removed. So I've actually had multiple procedures and surgeries on my knee, a couple of them reconstructive, to literally bolt my knee back together. So I was like, yeah, my right knee's kind of shot. I do have a knee problem. And then I threw this in too. Like, back in football, I used to roll my ankles a lot. I had to get them taped all the time, and I had bad ankles because of football. I hadn't played football in 20 years. You idiot. It's like, that's going to help. Oh, yeah, you played football. Well, we'll just let you be on your way then. I don't know. I hope that would work. It didn't work. Did not work. So she goes, "All right, stand on your left leg and hold your right leg up. And I want you to hold your right heel 6 inches off the ground and start counting 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, and go as high as you can." I was like, huh? Yes, in my head, but outwardly, I was like, "Yes, ma'am." And I stood there and I kind of steadied myself with my arms, and I put my leg out and held it up 6 inches. And 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000. And I got up to like 17 or 18, 1,000, and I lost my balance, had to put my foot down. I thought that was pretty good. I thought that was pretty far. She goes, "Can you do it with the other? Can you do it with the other foot? I know your knee's bad, but can you do it the other way?" Same thing. Got to like 17 or 18 before I had to put my foot down. So I thought I was doing pretty good. Then she hit me with the pen thing. Watch, follow the pen. You can't cheat that one. That one is specifically designed. Oh my god, my hair's awesome. That one's designed to catch drunk people because it's a reaction that your eyes you can't make your eyes not do that. So if your eye goes to a far extreme when you're drunk, it bounces and you can't stop it. It's not a muscle thing that you can control. It happens. That's why they do the pen thing. That's why they hold your eyes way out to the corner for so long to see if they start bouncing. So she got me with the pen thing, and I was trying. I knew that though. I knew that whole thing. So I was just doing my damnedest to just steady my eyes and just don't wiggle your eyes. And I thought I did. And she goes, "Well, I'm gonna have to have you breathe into this." And she pulled out the breathalyzer. Now, at this point, there's two ways you can go. You can refuse the breathalyzer and you get automatically arrested. You automatically lose your license for a year. However, you can take everything to court because they have nothing to prove how intoxicated, if at all, you were on site at the time. So, and the one thing about Tioga County Sheriffs is they don't have cameras. They ain't running cameras. They didn't, at least not when I was doing it. Maybe they do now, but at the time they didn't have dash cams and they didn't have body cams. They didn't have no camera on the car or on their person at that time. Maybe I just caught them when the budget was slow. I don't know, but I wasn't on camera at all. So they had no video evidence of me doing these field sobriety tests. So I decided I'd take it. I was just being compliant. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. I was being compliant. I was being polite. I wasn't trying to be an asshole. I was containing myself. I can hear fucking girlfriend just still losing her shit in the front of the car, crying, almost screaming, losing her shit. I'm like, can you shut up? Like, I'm trying to deal with something here. And I remember her just being very emotional about the whole thing, very upset. And I'm like, you're not even getting arrested. You're fine. You just sit quietly. And she was very upset. She got on the phone. She was talking to people. I don't know who she called. I think she called my buddy who we were going to go see. And I think he got his fiance to get out of bed, by the way, because she was already asleep for the night. He got her to get out of bed and drive down to come pick her up and take her home so that my girlfriend had a ride home from my buddy's fiance. They made that plan. And I had given my cell phone to my girlfriend, so I didn't have a way to do anything. So the cop Julie hands me the breathalyzer. I take it. Boom! It registered oh my God. It was a 0.08 is the legal limit. If you're a 0.079, you're good to go. They still might charge you with something, but you won't be in very much trouble. 0.08 is the limit. And I did a 0.16 or 0.16, I believe it was, double the legal limit. But that's all it was, 0.16. I was like, that's pretty good for how much I actually have in me right now. Thank you very much. But that's not funny. That's not funny at all. She's like, okay, you're well over the legal limits, sir. I'm going to have to go ahead and arrest you and take you in for DWI. I said, yes, ma'am. I said, can I move my car? She said, no. I said, can you move my car? She said, ooh, I don't think so. And while we were doing this, the whole, put your foot up, touch your nose, that whole nonsense, a second sheriff had pulled up behind her car, and he was her backup in case I went crazy, which I was very nice, very compliant. I knew what was going on. I was much calmer than my fucking girlfriend who's upset in the riding shotgun. So I said, well, can one of them move my car for me? Just pull it across the road into the parking lot over there, the Blue Dolphin parking lot. It's got a huge parking lot. Pull it right into one of the edge corner spots, and I'll come back tomorrow and get it. I'll be out tonight, right? She's like, yeah, well, you'll probably be released tonight. And even if they keep you, you'll be released tomorrow morning. You should be fine, and you can come pick up your car. I said, great. She goes, you know what? I'll ask them, but I'm gonna have to put you in my car. And I said, yes, ma'am. So I literally, oh no, she grabbed me, hands on the back on the trunk of my car, and I emptied out my pockets. I had some cigarettes, my wallet, stuff like that. And she's like, they're gonna throw away your cigarettes. So if you want one, I'll let you have one more cigarette. So she let me take one cigarette, my lighter, and I think she made me take my driver's license so I could have my ID. And then she left everything else on the trunk of my car. And she goes, I'm going to put you in my car. I said, yes, ma'am. I literally walked past her, went to the back of her car, opened up the back of the fucking cop car, hopped in and closed the door. Just sat quietly. Like, didn't get cuffed, didn't get beat up, didn't get stuffed, nothing. Just walked past it. Yes, ma'am. And I went and just got in the back of her car. Figured that was the best thing to do. I never got handcuffed. She never laid a finger on me the whole night. And one of the other guys, the other cops, now this is apparently illegal. They're not supposed to do this. One of the other cops, he grabbed all my shit out of my trunk, picked it all up, threw it in my center console. My keys were in the ignition. Girlfriend had got out. My buddy's fiance had showed up. They parked over somewhere else and walked up. So my girlfriend went with them to get a ride. They squared that away already. Cop gets in my car, pulls it around, and pulls it into the very corner parking spot of the Blue Dolphin Diner so it didn't have to get towed. They parked it for me in a parking lot. And then he walks over, he locked it, and then he walks over and he tosses her the keys, and she gets in and she's like, okay, we're going to head out. And I'm like, cool. I get my keys back at the end of this. I can go get my car tomorrow. They're not supposed to move your car. There's insurance reasons and liability and stuff. And they're not supposed to do that kind of stuff. What they're supposed to do is have your car towed, which is an interesting part of the second DWI story, which I'll share in another video. But they were super nice. I can't to say, Tioga County Sheriff's nod to you, gentlemen and lady. Very professional, very nice. I had like no issues with them. It was wild. It was just one of those things. So anyway, we get in the car and we start heading down. She gets on the highway and we take off and we're heading down to the sheriff's station. And she goes, do you want to listen to the radio? And I was like, sure. I thought she meant the police radio, like the scanner, to hear what else was going on. She turns on Wild 104. So all of a sudden we're bopping along to like Taylor Swift. I was like, hey, like, I don't know what was on. But I was just trying to be light and happy and I was trying to focus on not being arrested at that moment. I wasn't handcuffed. She didn't care. She had the little divider window open. She was talking to me. Turned on the radio, like the actual radio, listening to pop songs. We get all the way to the sheriff's station. She pulls in the front there. We get out. She lets me out. I get out. She hands me my cigarette, my lighter. I forgot about it. So I fire up a cigarette and we start chatting like buddies. Like, she's like, did you really see me coming up behind you? And I was like, I was looking to see if that was a luggage rack or lights. Because they have those low profile lights at the top, a lot of them. And I was like, I couldn't tell if that was luggage rack or lights. And I was like, I think that's a cop. Because I always think everybody's a cop. And we actually had a little chuckle about that. I smoke my cigarette, just fire the butt out in the parking lot. She takes me in. I go through booking. I go up to a wall to the place where they have the benches and stuff, and the guy pats me down, and then you take shoes off, and you got to take your shoes off so they can search you, and they do all that, and then they want to fingerprint you. Now they got the new fingerprint. It's not the ink anymore. It's the electronic one, but they still have to put your finger on a pad. I don't know if it puts oil on or takes oil off your finger. I'm not sure. But he must have been a rookie or not been doing it very long because he kept fucking up. And I wasn't trying to, I was letting him just hold my finger and do the roll thing, whatever he wanted. He was jamming my fingers in there and like bending them. I'm like, dude, ow. I was not trying to resist him in any way, shape, or form, but I could tell he was getting pissed because he couldn't get it right. So I was kind of laughing at him a little bit. So eventually they get my fingerprints. They say, stand there. They take my mug shot. Take your hat off. So I'm sure my hair was like this. Just kind of crazy. So I'm sure my hair was like, probably like that actually. So this is probably my mugshot or very similar mugshot at the time. So they took the front and then the profile and then the other profile and then they're like, why don't you have a seat while we process this? And there's benches right there, and they usually handcuff you right to the bench, but they just let me sit down. So I just sat on that bench, and I was pretty drunk, like I said. I had a decent amount of booze in me. So I was trying in my head. I was like, don't give these bastards anything. Don't tell them anything. Just keep it locked up here for now. And I just stared at the wall for 45 minutes while they did whatever the fuck they were doing. And I said nothing, not a peep. I barely moved. I just sat there quietly, literally twiddled my thumbs. Like I had my hands like this, and I just did that for like 45 minutes or so. Eventually, there's like three guys over at the desk over there, and one of the cops leans over, hey, man. I don't know if he said my name or not. I want to say he said, hey, man. Hey, man, do you got somebody you can call? Come get you a ride? I said, no, I don't have my phone. He goes, we'll give you a phone. I was like, no, I don't have my phone. I don't have anybody's phone number. He's like, oh, dummy. Like I fucking remember people's phone number. I don't remember. I don't know my own mother's phone number. She's in my phone as mom. I touched the mom button and mom. I talked to mom. Like I don't know what their fucking phone number is. I don't know anybody. I know like two phone numbers I remember off the top of my head, and those are the two people I can call. One of them happens to be my father, and the other one's my buddy Fat. So there's only two numbers that I remember, and I wasn't going to call either of them. And actually, where the Tahoe County Sheriff's Jail is about a mile, 1.2 miles from my parents' house. So my plan was just walk to my parents' house and go sleep on their couch. That's what I was going to do. And I was like, no, my parents' house is about a mile away. I was just going to walk there and pass out. Now, mind you, it's almost 3 a.m. at this point. And they said, you know what? Never mind. Never mind. In fact, why don't you go out and wait in the lobby? I said, what? And they said, get out, go out and wait in the lobby. Because when you go in the jail, there's the booking part where the benches and like the holding cells and where they fingerprint you and take your picture and all that jazz. That's behind locked doors. The lobby is open to the general public where you can just go in, like if you want to get your pistol permit or you want to file a complaint or you need to talk to the sheriff for some reason. Like there's a general lobby that you can walk in open to the public. They was like, go sit in the lobby. Go out there. We don't want to babysit you. Go out in the lobby. But don't leave until Julie comes back out. I said, okay. So they literally just sent me out in the lobby. Then I just sat out in the lobby. I went to the water fountain, got a drink, sat on one of the benches, and just kind of hung out. A few minutes later, Julie pops out. She gives me a bunch of paperwork. Said, look, I got it. I gave you, you're arrested for DWI. This is your arrest, your ticket, this, and this. And, we're going to file this, and you're going to have an appointment with the judge. You're going to come see the judge and deal with it at that point. And I said, okay, yes, ma'am. She goes, I'll give you a ride home. Really? All right. So we go outside right through the front door. This time, not the back door, the front door, public door. Jump in her cruiser again. I jumped in the back, same as normal. She turned on the radio. We had a chat going down to my house. And some of my friends, in Owego being a small town, some of my friends were sheriffs and police officers. So we had a quick conversation about how I knew some of those guys. And I told her a story or two about some friends of mine, which I thought were amusing. She drops me off in front of my house, and she lets me out, and I hop out, and I said, hey, thanks for the date. Because she was she was an attractive young lady. And she just laughed at me, and I said, now go get some real criminals. And she said, okay, and jumped in her car and took off. And the very first thing I did is I walked in my house, because they gave me my keys back. I had my keys. I didn't have my phone. My girlfriend had my phone. So I was like, well, I'm just going to go to bed. And when I get up tomorrow, hopefully somebody will either show up and get me, or I'm going to have to walk to a phone somewhere and call someone, call my dad, and have him come give me a ride. But I walked into my house and I happened to have a 12 pack of Labatt Blue Blue Light Limes, which is my favorite summer beer at the time. I don't drink anymore. But at the time, I was drinking heavily, and that was one of my favorite summer beers. And I had a 12er of those sitting in the fridge, and it did not take long to get through all 12 of them. I was a little stressed out, a little upset. I had a pack that had like 3 cigarettes left in it, and I fired through a dozen beers and 3 cigarettes in like, well, whatever, an hour change. But I fired through a bunch of beers because I was pretty stressed out. And then the next morning, I wake up to somebody coming in my house. And I lived alone at that point, but my parents would often come over and just help themselves. I pop out of bed and I open my door and I look down the stairs, and my buddy Charlie's coming up the stairs. And he goes, "I heard you got arrested last night. I was told to come get you." My girlfriend had called my buddy Charlie and said, "Go over to his house and get him. Hopefully he's there." And so Charlie had picked me up, and we went over and I picked up my car, and then I went to my girlfriend's house and got the rest of my shit. And that was how I got arrested. Um, that's the story so far. I'll give you part two of that another time, because the part two is just what I went through after the arrest and when I started going to court and everything I had, everything that challenged me at that point. So that'll be part two coming up soon. Until then, appreciate you guys watching the video. Please like, subscribe, comment, share. Try and help me out as much as you can. Expose the channel, and let's I love sharing stories. So if you like hearing them, leave a like and a comment. Let me know, and we'll try and grow this channel as much as we can. Other than that, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.